Hello everyone, welcome back to the final location video for Resident Evil Requiem. Today we will be looking at ARK. This is the final and I would say the most important part of the game, location wise. Remember, with these videos we go over the story they have through the game and then my thoughts on it. So Leon starts off, he finishes off Plant 43, and then he finds this big-ass umbrella door with the logo on it. He unlocks it and is finding himself in ARK, the main umbrella facility under Raccoon City. He is finding logos of Tricell and Umbrella and other corporations that have dealt with viruses over the last 30 years. Which is crazy to think about. But after that, Leon investigates a little bit. He comes across a room with some screens on it. He finds that there's a area called Pandora. That is where Elpis is being held. And then he sees some hunk guards that are coming after him. Now, they look like hunk guards, so I'm just going to call them that. And then he just says he has an unexpected company. He didn't know he was being followed or he was being watched. So he goes and takes care of two rooms full of hunk guards, and he finds out that liquors are also being held here, which is just crazy that they were being held down at ARK, but, you know, Umbrella and their fucking experiments. So yeah, hunk guards, liquors, and zombies are all coming after Leon while he's trying to find Grace and help her out. And then after that, Leon comes across this hallway that leads to Pandora, and then Mr. Hunk himself comes out of that room and decides to basically say, I'm gonna kick your ass. So him and Leon get thrown down to this red room, and they basically brawl it out. Him and Hunk start fighting, and basically Hunk has been waiting to fight Leon, which is kind of crazy that Hunk even knew about him. I didn't think Hunk would care. But he is an Umbrella agent, so yeah. And if you actually when you go up the stairs and then go right back down, Hunk's body is gone. That is the only dead body that disappears. Every other dead body that you kill, they don't disappear. Hunk's does, so that's leaving it to believe that he is alive and he could come back for like RE10. But after that, Leon goes into Pandora. He sees Grace and Zeno are in there. Zeno is talking about Elpis and that Grace is the one to unlock it through a password, but Grace doesn't know it. She doesn't know the password. She has nothing acknowledging Elpis to her, so she's really confused what the fuck's going on, and she just doesn't know. And then Leon comes in and he starts to kind of tussle with Zeno, but unfortunately gets his ass kicked a little bit. But him and Grace do escape, and they fall down to this big like waste dump under ARK, and then Leon passes out, and apparently it's been like a while from what Grace said. Leon wakes up, but there's more black marks on him, and he confirms to Grace that it is T-virus, and it is stage 3 infection, and he starts telling her that it all began with Raccoon City for him, and that this virus has been growing on him for the last 30 years, and he now has the chance to get it off, and that he's going to go end things himself, and he doesn't want to put Grace in danger. But Grace is wanting to help out Leon. She doesn't want any more regrets. She's basically saying, whatever it takes, just count me in. I will help you out. And Leon's like, okay, but if anything happens to me, please tell me you'll end this. And Grace is like, okay. So they start moving forward. They find a machine that can be moved to get back into Pandora, but Grace finds another way, but Leon has to help her up there. So Grace gets in there. She goes down to a air duct and then finds out that there is an override, or not an override key, but a key that can move the machine. She just needs to find it. Sorry. So she goes looking for it, but she has to battle through hordes of zombies and lickers herself, and it's still terrifying for her. She's still new to this stuff. So she goes through and tries to, she gets rid of all the enemies and stuff, finds the key, and then she finds this room that has this red door where she needs to find a red and a white ball that are making the Umbrella logo. So she goes to a couple different rooms to find those, still killing more enemies, of course. She finds those balls, and then she unlocks the door, and it's a big white room with a big TV in front of it. And she goes up to it. She finds out that there's a disc inside, and it's almost the exact same one that her mom had in the envelope at the very beginning of the game inside that painting. So she pulls that out, puts it in the thing, finds a bunch of files labeled the creator, the butler, Grace, and others. She clicks on the creator, and it is Oswald E. Spencer himself being interviewed by Alyssa Ashcroft. Now, we learn that within this one itself that, you know, Spencer's a dying old man, and that he's not what he used to be. So within that video, he asks for a short break before they actually start the conversation. So Alyssa turns out the camera before they start, and then we cut to Leon, who is now climbing up the ladder that was being blocked by the machine. Grace did move it for him before she went into that one room. Leon is having to fight through the last hordes of enemies, and it's just a lot of lickers and a lot of zombies. He is moving slowly because he is actually dying now. You know, this is the process of him dying. Leon gets into an elevator, and then he checks his bullets. He sees if he has enough to take down Victor and Zeno, well, not Victor, but Zeno. And then you have to go through a hallway. He is slowly moving. It is just like the infection scene from Resident Evil 4 Remake, where he is slowly moving with Ashley. But this one is just him, and he is actually dying, not being taken over. So he gets into this yellow glowing room that has this big door in front of it. He is just stumbling everywhere and is unable to walk really. He gets, and then he stands up. We get back to Grace. She watches the video titled Grace, and we get the amazing reveal that Grace is not Alyssa's daughter. Spencer had found Grace as a baby and adopted her as just a child. And she is completely normal. She is not infected with anything. She has nothing to her. She is a completely normal child. Spencer just saw that she was alone in the world and decided to take her in. And he goes on to say that she is his hope, and he is wanting to right his wrongs. Basically, he regrets what he has done for Umbrella and what has happened in Raccoon City. And then we get to learn that Spencer's butler had messaged Alyssa saying, hey, within the will of Spencer, you are now the legal guardian of Grace, and she is now your kid. Spencer is handing her over to you, and that's what makes it to where Alyssa is Grace's mom. She becomes her stepmom, but Grace does not find out until now, obviously. So basically, Grace's dad was Spencer, and her mom was Alyssa, which is really crazy to think about. But yeah, Grace is both Spencer and Alyssa's hope, and that is the password to releasing Elpis. It is hope. But Grace finds Leon coughing up a lot of blood. She goes through this door, and this room that she goes in is so different from the whole facility. It's basically like a normal mansion office room. It's Spencer's last office that he had and there's a painting, or there's a picture of Miranda. There's his wheelchair that he had, and there's just a bunch of other stuff. And then she finds Leon. They both go through the door, and they are back in Pandora. Leon is trusting Grace to destroy Elpis, and she has another plan, and he is trusting her anyways. So Grace is telling Zeno that I know the password. You're gonna have Elpis and all that. She releases Elpis with the password Hope, because that's what she was to Spencer and Alyssa. She was their hope. So she releases Elpis. Zeno gets a hand of a vial, and he injects himself, but little does he know, Elpis is an antivirus. It stops viruses from spreading or even happening. So Zeno had just cured himself of the Umbrella Curse and his own powers. So Zeno is now weak. And then we see that Victor is actually alive. He is missing an arm from that explosion. He takes off his mask, and it doesn't really reveal anything. He just has like snake eyes and a big forehead, which is crazy. And then him and Zeno start arguing, saying that Spencer outwitted everyone, and that there was no connection between Grace and Emily, which is pretty obvious. So those little girls are not clones of Grace. They are just random clones off someone that they have made. They are not Grace clones. So yeah. But Victor basically just makes fun of Zeno, calling him an imitation, obviously, of Albert Wesker. And then Victor just grows a fucking tentacle arm and decapitates Zeno right then and there. And oh my god, is it something. And then basically Victor goes and grabs his own vial of Elpis. He doesn't inject himself, he never does, but he grabs his own. And then Grace cures Leon, and the whole place is coming down. Victor is hitting the self-destruct button, and the whole place is coming down. And then Grace cannot be found, but Leon has one final battle with Victor, and once he defeats stage 1 of him, Victor then comes back as a nemesis. He had injected himself with the nemesis virus. That's why he has the big scar across his chest, and the messed up face and all that. He injected himself with the nemesis virus, and that's what he is. That's what Leon finally fights. So Leon basically blows him to Kingdom Come. Victor is dead. Zeno's dead. Leon and Grace are still alive, but they are trapped. They cannot get out. There's no way out. The room becomes pitch black, and then, out of sheer luck, last minute, Chris's Hound Wolf Squad comes in, rescues Grace and Leon, and that's the canon ending. And then after that, they are outside of the ARK facility, and sorry, Grace is being cared for. Leon confirms that he has another vial for Sherry to be cured, because remember, she was infected. So yeah. And then Leon talks to Grace about Emily, saying that he did not hit any of her vitals, so she could still be alive. And then we have some news coverage of the whole situation, and basically it's out now. Everyone knows that the truth about Umbrella and Raccoon City. The word is out. Everyone knows the truth, and it took them 30 goddamn years to do so. And then there's a whole bunch of helicopters and cars at the care center. And that's because they were finding Emily. Emily was just trapped in a cocoon of the creature that she had turned into. She was just cocooned inside it, and she got cured. They cured her with Elpis. She's now able to actually see. She isn't blind. And then we find out that Grace had adopted her. Grace still works at the FBI. She finished her report, got it turned in. Still talks to Leon, just to make sure she's okay and stuff, But Grace adopted Emily, just like Alyssa had adopted Grace. And that is the end of Resident Evil Requiem, except for one post-credit scene. We are back in ARK, and there are 2 hunk soldiers that find this thing, and they're reporting to their base, saying we have found the objective before Chris could send in his wolves. So I guess we'll find out what that was in Resident Evil 10. I think it's Zeno's head. Maybe they're gonna try and clone Albert Wesker again. Who knows? But yeah, whatever they needed, they found, and they needed it before the wolves could find it. So that leaves me to think that Chris and Jill could be the leads for Resident Evil 10. But that was the story of Resident Evil Requiem itself and their locations. My thoughts on ARK: I think it's a really good facility. It's the most important place in Resident Evil right now because of how much it gives us. We learn that Spencer had regretted what he had done, and he had adopted a child because of it, and she wasn't infected. She had nothing virus related. She was just a normal girl. He had adopted her hoping it would be a atonement for him, and it could serve as a requiem for others, which it did. And he had made Elpis to cure all virus-based weapons so that people from Raccoon City could be healed, or anyone else that find it could be healed. And, we learned that Hunk is still around. He's still alive, and, that ass-kicking, that neck gash that he got from Leon did not take him down one bit. He is still out there. And Chris's Hound Wolf Squad is also here after 5 years after Resident Evil Village. He is still here, obviously uncovering the BSA bullshit and probably now all this bullshit, but this is what 30 years of Resident Evil has led to. I could not be any happier. This game was just amazing. I cannot believe how well the story was for this, and the locations, and just everything else. I have one more Resident Evil Requiem video that will be coming out on Thursday, so stay tuned for that, and I have a couple other videos coming out within the days. I have a lot planned. I'm going to be recording all day, basically, trying to get some stuff done so you guys can have some content within the next 2 weeks. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one, and bye.